And let's start with source codes. Now, a source code will identify where a transaction originates from. And by looking at source codes, you will see, for example, that they will describe like journals, documents, and so on. So based on the source code setup, we can link source codes to specific documents, to specific transactions in each application area. Let's have a look. So let me use the search function to search for the source codes. And here you can see the different source codes that we are currently using in our demo company. And like I just said, by looking at them, you recognize, for example, fixed asset general journal, the general journal, you recognized intercompany, item journal, and so on. So, and certainly by looking at description, you can see that source codes describe journals, entries, documents, and so on. Now, once that the source code is created, we will link source codes in the source code setup. So if I go again and use the search function, and if I go to the source code setup, you can see that the setup is divided into different fast steps for each application area. So general, sales, purchase, and so on. And that for each application area, a source code is linked to a transaction or data that we can use in that application area. So for example, for the general application area, obviously these are the general journals, but also intercompany general journals, the closed income statement, reversals, and so on. And each time that we post something, so such a transaction, the system will also write the source code to the posted entries, so that from a posted entry, you can see, like I just said, from where a transaction originates. Did it came from a reversal? Did it came from a deleted document, from a date compression, and so on. So this is general, but if I would take, for example, manufacturing, you can see here the source codes that are linked to journals in manufacturing. If you take warehouse, you can see source codes linked to the different warehouse journals and so on. So this is basically what we need to do when setting up source codes. Now, let me show you how these source codes are used. And to do this, I will go to the GL registers. So, and you might know that the GL register is something that the system will create automatically when you do a posting. And here you can already see the source code on the GL register. So I can perfectly tell that, for example, this line, so register 131, came from purchases, this came from sales, from general journal, and so on. You see again, so this is where the transaction originates from. Here you can see it on the GL register level, but by going, for example, to the general ledger, you can also, let me check, I'm not sure if the field is available here. So if I, yeah, there it is. So I can also show the field in the GL entries. And also here you can then, of course, see where this transaction came from. So these entries came from purchases. You see, so that's basically the idea and the purpose of source codes. Where did the transactions came from when posted? Now, the source code setup that we just saw is something that you don't have to do manually. So if you do a clean install of Microsoft Dynamics NAV, you will see that all these standard source codes are created automatically, and that the source code setup, as we just had a look at it, is also done automatically. So everything that you see here is done automatically, so you don't have to do manually. Only in cases where you want to change source codes from one or the other reason, or when you might have developed new application functionality that require new source codes, you might have to modify the source code setup.